Ahoy, ahoy! Man, we're off to a good start. I don't even know what the day is today. October 6th, 2020. It is day 214. We are listening to Any Old Time by Artie Shaw and his orchestra. It's okay. Today, we're going to do what I read over September. And it was very disappointing. I want to average 5 books a month so that I can read 15 by the end of the year. And guess how many I read? It was 4. And yeah, I'm pretty sad, but in my defense, my last 2 weeks of September were crazy busy, and I barely ever picked up any books, but I am reading 700 pages. 700? I'm reading 2 700-page books right now, so we're going to go over the ones I've talked about already real quick. The first one is Smoking in Your Eyes. I gave this a 4.4 out of 5. The only gripe I had with this book is that I think it should have been 20 pages shorter, because at the end of the book, the stories that she was telling were just not as interesting as the first 2/3 of the book, and it just kind of seemed like it dragged on. It's 250 pages long, so it's not long already, but I think it would have been like almost a 4.8 out of 5 if it would have been 20 pages short. But that being said, that's the only gripe I have with this book, because this is a great book and a necessary read for some people. This next book is Shadow and Bone by Leah Bardugo. I think that's how you say her name. I should not say authors' names. I'm so bad at people's names. I finished this the first day of September, and I don't remember anything that happened. There is a chick called Alina, I literally had to read it in the back there, who gets kidnapped or taken by the Grisha people, who are sorcerers, and they have different abilities, and she's one of a very special kind of ability that they've been looking for a very long time, so that she can get rid of this dark area that's very dangerous to walk through, and everybody's excited that she's there. And then she goes through this training procedure, and the training procedure was very awful, and every character was very boring, very binary, and just not interesting. The villain is a 1970s villain. It was just 1970s villain. Does that make sense to you? 1970s movie villain. And the ending happened, and I was super glad it ended. I am not excited to read the next 2, but I think I have to get 6 of Crows. So that makes me pretty sad. I gave that a 2.5. I don't know if I said that already. My next one, I finished a couple days after that, and that is Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. This is number 3 in the Stormlight Archive. This is, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5, which is 0.1 less than the first 2. I didn't like this one near as much. Not near as much. I didn't like this one as much as the first 2 because of 2 reasons. One, I love the simplicity of the first 2. The third one, their abilities are more evolved, and it made me step back a bit and give it a little questioning eye, like, hey, what's going on here, Brandon? But I think that was just because it was the first time I read it. If I read it again, then I think that issue is going to be gone. The second issue I had with it is the last 100 pages of the first 2 books were such a good read, and it blew my mind, and I loved all the reviews and reveals. And the third book's ending, the battle scene, I couldn't follow along as well. It was, so much was happening, and I think, again, it needs a reread to actually understand everything that's going on. That being said, this book has the best character of all time. Brandon Sanderson has created a masterpiece with Dallin Arkalon, and this is his book, and you get his backstory, and it is great. Holy moly, this book is great because of Dalinar. Another reason I like this book is because it flushes out Renarin's character. When Renarin and Adolin were talking while they were watching Dalinar's horse, Renarin says something, and then Adolin processes it in his head that Renarin thinks about stuff, and then he says whatever his end thoughts were. So those words don't make any sense to anybody else, but since Adolin grew up with Renarin, he understands it, and everybody else just thinks Renarin is just a weirdo, and he says some weird stuff. that is my life. I have said some weird stuff, but it's because I processed everything and then I just say whatever my end thoughts were. And my sisters can pick up on it, but nobody else can. And that just struck home with me. Another one, when Renarn was in a meeting with like all females and guys that were like religious folks, and Renarn was not part of this, but he wants to be part of something, so he went to this meeting and he felt out of place right away. Dalinar shows up so that Renarin doesn't feel out of place. Wow, that scene, I literally hit stop and I was like, holy moly, Dalinar is such a good character. I'm super excited about the fourth one. I will buy it immediately. Actually, I already bought it. That's hilarious. I bought it already. It's called Rhythm of War. I haven't read a released book on the release date since number 7 of Harry Potter. That is crazy. So, my mind, I'm actually super excited to be part of a brand new book. The last and final book I finished was actually a couple weeks ago on Audible. It's called, what is it called? Black Prism by Brett Weeks. This is a high fantasy that sometimes reads like a young adult's fantasy. It is a quick read. It is, the magic system in this book is something I've never read before, so that was unique and special and kind of fun, actually. The third, why am I counting out? What am I counting out again? I have no idea. Whatever, number 3 is, oh, the characters in this book. I like some of them were awful. I don't like the way Brett Weeks writes some of his descriptions and the thought process some characters have. There is some sexism issues I have. There is a lot of fat shaming issues I have. There is, the last third of the book, this is my biggest gripe. There is a woman character that Brett Weeks dresses up in a slutty way, and she has to do all her tasks and events or activities in this dress. And I don't know why Brett did it, because it didn't add to the story. It doesn't do anything besides the fact that Brett just wants this slutty chick to be dancing around in a battlefield, and I just didn't like that. There is some things that I like that Brett put in, like he talks about acne. These characters have acne, so they have to deal with that. There is one scene where this guy wakes up and his arm is asleep. I haven't read a book where that's happened, and then he's got to fight someone while his arm is asleep. That was unique and kind of crazy. Yeah, this is a fun book. I'm going to continue with the series. There are twists and turns throughout this entire book, and I did not predict any of the twists and turns. There's one twist that was revealed right away, and I don't understand why Brett did that. But I didn't mind that he did it. It made me feel smarter than everybody else that didn't know about it. Stupid characters. But yeah, I would prefer to have read the book. I think the Audible audio had issues. I think I'm going to buy the series. I think every booktuber actually does have the 4 or 5 books, whatever are many in the series. So yeah, it was a good recommendation. It was a good book. I look forward to reading the rest of them. I bet I've said that 17 times. That's why editing exists. I'm going to... What am I going to do? Cry? Yeah. Alright, toodaloo. Have a good day. I'm going to go...